podcast show. I'm your host, Trevor, and tonight we are joined by Andy. Andy, how you doing tonight?
Hey, Trev, I'm good. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty well, Alex, we are also joined by. How are you doing tonight?
Yo, yo, yo.
And yeah, that's it. We got our normal crew. Episode 7 recap show, and Teresa stirring the pot a little bit. Jay, adios. Leroy, very surprised by his elimination tonight. But yeah, great episode. I feel like, we were talking about the good old Tinker, where are we on the meter and stuff like that. I thought tonight was a really good episode. I think there was one flaw, and we'll get into it, with the whole TJ twist thing that was hyped up tremendously. That was, the scariest elimination of all time-esque. But, besides that, I thought it was a really good episode. What did you guys think?
I agree. I thought it kept us on the course that we've been on these past few episodes. Just very solid, good challenge, I think, good elimination, and the drama was all related to the game, which is always a good sign. It wasn't too much outside of the game and everything. I just think this was exactly what the doctor ordered, exactly what Mikey the doctor ordered.
God. Andy,
a good episode.
Andy, what did you think about tonight's episode?
I thought it was slightly above average.
Whoa. Explain.
I didn't think it was that great. I did not like the challenge. I mean, when you have 2 groups out of 4 that get DQ'd, that's a poor challenge in my mind. So I didn't really like the challenge a whole lot. I did like that a lot of the drama did relate to the challenge, but you got, like, a lot of it was Devin, being a meanie pants, and that was totally irrelevant to what was going on. But I thought it was pretty good for the majority. I thought it was again slightly above average.
Yeah,
I wasn't a huge fan though.
It seems like a lot of people in the chat, the classic 7/8s of the world, 8.5s, very like top. I wouldn't say best episode of all time, but not like that bad of an episode. So I felt like we'll get into the elimination. I was kind of surprised. I actually did like the elimination. I don't know if not elimination, excuse me, the challenge. I liked the challenge, and you said you didn't like it. I just felt like, when you get people not participating and stuff, it brings it down tremendously. And I mean, who doesn't want to see, Leroy and, Leroy and Jay were going at it. The one group just, what the hell was that? Like it was kind of embarrassing, honestly. Now we got Ryan McCord giving it a 6.7. So we're still better than the drones. Absolutely. Such a better episode than the drone shit show. But with that being said, let's just dive right into the episode. I believe the episode kind of just started, and it was very, the classic. First off, before we get into it, Alex, what is your, theory about, entering the house first or something like that? I saw something.
Well, yeah, basically about episode 3, 4 of the world is when I noticed this. But basically, and I think it's happened every time since then, it's very simple. It's the elimination winner from the last episode is always the first person to walk into the door on the episode after. Because, like, obviously every episode starts with, they come back from the elimination, and it's always the elimination winner is the first one to walk through.
I might have noticed that before.
I picked up on that as well.
Because today was Cam, last week was Anissa. And then it's just like I might actually go back and watch the first minute of each episode just to see if it actually is like 7 for 7 at this point, but I think it's at least 5 for 7.
Interesting.
So for you guys and all of the chat too, when next week rolls around, we got to see if Leroy is the one walking through the door first.
Well, we all know it's going to be not just Leroy, but not even Leroy and his partner, but Leroy and Cam will be the first group. And I would not be surprised if we got a confessional right out of the gate with either or one of those. Teresa's on her heels now. Now's when we got to attack, or something like that. I would say.
They both got their schools.
Yeah. So the episode begins, and I feel like we kind of have Jay and Teresa versus the world at this point. Would we all agree with that?
Yeah, and it was the classic foreshadowing, Jay and Teresa, and after last episode, I didn't think that team could paint a bigger target on their back than they did, and they proved me wrong throughout the episode. And then it also led to the classic coffee scene when her and CT were talking about Darrell, and then that got brought up at the elimination or at the deliberation. People kind of went nuts about it, but I mean, yeah, that was basically it. It was kind of Teresa. It was Cam and Leroy being pissed at Teresa, obviously, because Cam got voted in, and then Teresa was trying to stick up for herself and really just doing anything she could to dodge the attention.
Yeah, and she was just digging a grave not for her, but for her partner. Which
yeah,
I mean, I could not believe Jay was just not like, shut the hell up. This is a guy's elimination week. Just don't do anything. Like,
well, don't forget early on when all of that chatter starts happening, Teresa tried sticking up for Jay and saying, this was on me, don't put it on him. And then she continued to try to just be more scheming and like shady and go behind everyone's back. And it's just like, if she would have said that and like really dove it, like planted her feet in the ground and said, this was all on me, do not take this out on him. And then if she tried changing it up a bit, maybe they'd be in a better spot. But she kind of went in there and said, this was all me. And then she immediately followed that up with, Jay, don't talk about anything that we say in private. It's like one of the shadiest things you could possibly say. And that was in front of everybody too. So it was like she tried acting like she was like saving the day and helping him out, and then backed the bus right over him again.
Yeah, I mean, she definitely did not help his case at all. And realistically, I feel like, if she would have just like let everything settle down and stuff and we'll get into it, like the actual elimination and stuff. I don't understand why she was so like, we have to win this elimination or challenge and then we're going in. Do you guys think that team was going in 100% if they didn't win?
Teresa and Jay?
Because I personally think a big part of it too was Teresa telling people to jump off.
That was so stupid.
Exactly. So I think personally, like if she would have not said that, the whole Devin fight and all that would have happened. Who knows what would have happened? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there would have been more attention on that than Teresa.
Because when everything was kind of like, I was just looking ahead, doing the classic foreshadowing, thinking where they were like, oh, one thing happens one day, every day is like a year in the challenge. So like towards the end of the episode, I'm like, oh, they're not going in. Like once Tej did that big reveal and stuff.
But then every day she did something new that was stupid.
Yeah, it just pisses me off because like I like Teresa, and I just felt like it wasn't even about her. It was just she screwed over Jay, and that's who I feel bad for because I like Jay as a competitor. Even tonight during his elimination, I guarantee tonight those are the top two guys in that challenge, in that elimination. I cannot think of the two better guys to do that elimination. Who else could compete in that?
The only one that I think maybe would be Kyle, because he's tall. I think that plays a big role in this. And Kyle, we talk about this plenty of times. People sleep on Kyle. I do think you're right. I'm not trying to discredit that. But yeah. I'm trying to think of in terms of who else is out there. I think Kyle would put up a good fight in this.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel bad for Jay too. And I think like Teresa is obviously like a good physical competitor and all that. And I think when it comes to the political game, she is a good competitor in terms of like having a plan and knowing what that plan is. Because not many people have like a plan to take somebody out or do this move or whatever. But her weakness, I think, is like when she gets called out on things or when she's in any sort of pressure, she cracks.
Yeah,
she cracks.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I think that's her biggest flaw. Like she just I think she made too big of a move at the wrong time of this game. Really.
Yeah.
It was I think her move was smart. Like if she had a gold skull, it'd be completely different. Completely different. I just think she did get a strong competitor out. Some had her number one on her PR, but I just think, this way. I just think, what's it called? I just think she played it wrong. And then overall, she screwed Jay, and that's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
So, so then after that little fight, I would say, how about the whole Fezzi and Corey situation, which I don't understand at all.
My guess is I think this may be one of those 2 to 3 episodes foreshadowing, because when the fight in the middle of the episode, which we'll get into, it had a ton of guys in the middle of it, but Corey was not one of them. I mean, I think it was basically Fessy realizing that he had no guys on his side anymore, trying to go for Corey. And Corey, I mean, is an idiot, but he's also a vet. So, like, he was smart in saying, like, oh, like, I'll be nice to Fessy. We'll be cool now. But, like, I know that I can't really trust him. So I feel like those two are kind of just at an episode-by-episode basis at this point.
Yeah, I thought the same. I kind of liked the move on Fessy's part to try to rekindle that, because Corey doesn't have anyone else in the house, so he could just bring him along to help himself out, which is what Fessy does. But I do think Corey kind of saw through it, because, I mean, Fessy was saying, like, I'm an introverted guy, like, I don't like to open up, and, like, that's fine. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. You can still be a good challenger by doing that, but you still called out one of your best friends on the challenge. Like, regardless of how you want to play and what makes you comfortable and all that, you still actively went in against one of your best friends and knocked him out.
Yeah.
You can't, like, nothing's going to change that.
Absolutely. And then, I mean, you know, that conversation's going on, and then you have the Devons of the world, you know, just being like, you know, in the hot tub, just smirking, being like, Corey better not fall for this. This is the stupidest shit I've ever seen in my life, you know, all that, which I thought was interesting, you know, which kind of foreshadowed, which kind of foreshadowed, you know, tonight, or that fight later on as
True.
well. Yeah. So then we go to the actual challenge itself. So Andy said you didn't like it. Alex, what did you think of the challenge?
I liked it. I think like we said earlier, the one flaw of it was the fact that the guys didn't try, which is a big flaw. But I just think in terms of what the challenge was, I was a fan of it. And the reason being is because there was some sort of like get your opponents out of it, because like you had to push them in and everything. But at the same time, it was also you had to worry about yourself. You had to worry about yourself hanging on there, because some of those challenges that you get where it's like you have the ability to team up on someone, it's almost too much, and it comes down to just numbers, and you're able to get out the smaller opponent or whatever in terms of alliances. But I like this one because it was kind of half you had to worry about yourself just being able to hang on, but you also could go for your enemy if you wanted to. So I liked that part about it.
Yeah. I kind of got those, I'm trying to think what season it was. I think it was Dirty 30 vibes of when they were, it was 3 people at a time though. And I think it was to get back into the house. It was, I think Darrell, Tony, and someone else were at it.
Like when they were like the wrestling thing?
Yeah. Trying to throw each other off of the,
Boogie.
Yeah, that wasn't that freckle face in Jenna too?
Yeah, Jenna kicked her off or whatever.
I thought you were gonna say vibes of Rivals when they were under the helicopter and they just had to climb up a thing and then like.
Classic.
Yeah.
Mikey the Doctor, not a chance. It was all determined by 1 second. I mean, we've talked about that multiple times. I mean, there's no chance it was 1 second. Last week was 5 seconds. I mean, no chance. Just ridiculous. So heat number 1, we had Casey, Nani, Cam, Big T, and Anissa. I mean, looking at that, I feel like it's very open. I think Casey would be kind of, you know, the top dog. I would agree. But kind of besides that, I mean, or Cam, sorry, I completely skipped.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Cam being the top dog in that, would you disagree? Or Andy, I saw you shaking your head when I said Cam, so.
No, I think for both heats, the winner didn't surprise me that much.
So you thought Casey over Cam was expected?
Yeah, I like Casey a lot. I think, and granted, Cam's Cam's a good competitor, and between the two, I think Cam does have a little meat on bones. And Casey said that. She was like, some girls view me as a senior competitor, but, I'm strong. I mean, she is strong. She's a professional football player. Don't forget that. So I figured it would be those two, but doesn't surprise me. Casey came out on top.
Mm-hmm. One thing I do want to bring up before we talk about the other heats, what you guys think about, the selection of the heats? That's one part of the game I wish we would have had back is like, I love the old episodes where they literally draw. Like, you actually see it. You know what I'm saying? Like, when Tej reaches into the bag and it's literally a circle, puzzle piece almost, and it's like Casey or Nani or whoever. I don't understand why they don't do that. Because I feel like it's so like, you look at that third heat, Teresa, Ambers, Gabby, and Lolo. I feel like that's so like rigged for Teresa to win. Is it not?
But you got
Lolo. Lolo ain't bad.
She was like one of the first ones off, it seemed like.
Because it seemed like when Teresa said let go, she let go.
That's what I'm saying. So it was rigged, is what I'm saying.
No, that's not it being rigged. That's Teresa trying to politic before the game.
God. But you don't think MTV knew that? If she threw Teresa and Cam together, that ain't happening. You throw Teresa and Nani together, that ain't happening.
Well, M or B, whichever one it was, also wasn't happening either. I'm not trying to discredit it because I agree with you. And I agree with what I think it was what Mikey was saying. I hate when MTV hides very important pieces of the challenge like that from us because they can do whatever the hell they want. Teresa and Jay could have won. We don't know that. And that's why I hate when they do stuff like this because they can control what happens.
Absolutely. The thing Ryan McCord just wrote, or have the previous winners create heats and lineups. Another thing I love doing.
Yeah.
Even if you make it 3 heats in the I don't how many people are left? I said is there 8 people or how many?
There's 10 on each.
10 on each. Even if you did 3-3-4, 3-3-4 and then created top 2 girls from each heat. 3 doesn't make sense. Or just made one giant heat of 5. So the top 5 girls to stay on the longest time. I think that's what they should have done. And then obviously the guys was just a complete mess. The second heat was Kyle, Devin, Fezzi, Darrell, and Nam, which I don't think anybody moved.
Yeah, we have to talk about this because this is where the disappointment for the challenge itself came in.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys think it was just a matter of like all of them just being pussies, or like was it strategy, or they didn't want to move because they thought they might fall off? Like, this was honestly disappointing, especially when you have, like, for example, Kyle and Devin, who are very anti-Fessy. You would think that maybe it was just because of how they were positioned, but maybe they try something. Like, it just didn't make sense to me that nobody tried anything.
Yeah, I don't know. It just pissed me off. Like, Darrell was basically saying, oh, I'm scared of heights and stuff. But, he was just hanging on for dear life. Like, he gave no effort at all for any of it. I'm trying to see if Devin didn't move. Kyle didn't really move either.
None of them did.
Yeah.
No, that first one, they were statues.
Yeah, which is just embarrassing, I would say. Yeah.
I think it was scared. I think it was scared of the heights, scared of the fall into the water. Granted, being like suspended below a helicopter in the freezing cold with water below you, that's not like an ideal situation to be in. And like when Fessy's out there barking out at him, if you guys come after me, I'm not letting go. He's probably right. If you try pulling on him, he could just give you a clean, stiff arm like he probably used to do from the outside linebackers that are back in some college we've never heard of. But it's one of those things where it's like they're kind of scared of the challenge, kind of scared of each other, so they all just didn't do anything.
I guess.
Yeah, and you just got the vibe, like just watching it on TV, you just got the vibe that after 10 seconds of the challenge, everybody was not frozen in fear, but just frozen based on what the challenge was, and that they didn't move right away, and so they just kind of all decided to not move. But yeah, pretty uneventful heat.
Yeah.
So then the next one, like we said, it was the Ambers, Gabby, and Lolo and Teresa. And basically, Teresa talked in everybody into jumping off except Amber B.
Yeah.
So it was Teresa and Amber B, and they fought for a decent amount. And I mean, I think Amber B tonight got more airtime than the other 6 episodes combined.
Oh, absolutely.
Got to.
So, but I mean, this I feel like made it interesting though that Teresa won because she was the enemy from last episode, and because the first girls' heat was won by Leroy's partner, Casey. So now Teresa wins, and it's like pretty close, who's going to win. And then the fourth heat, the rest of the guys, I mean, these guys actually tried compared to the first guys' heat, but it was actually really, I mean, Michi fell.
I think he was the only one who dropped.
Did anybody else see Michi almost fall when the thing was going up into the air?
Yeah. That was awesome.
I kind of like Michi at this point. He's
just there.
Yeah, he's just, and he's always kind of laughing at himself. I like that.
Yeah, I mean,
but really the only thing on this heat was Jay going for Leroy, and I think was his mindset maybe. Like, because at one point it looked like he was like on Leroy's back, so like willing to sacrifice himself in the water. And I think the reason being was because his partner Teresa had already won a heat.
Yeah.
So I think he was willing to like not be the last guy in the heat, just take Leroy off. But I think the last heat Michi was the only guy to fall off, right?
So my question would have been, if let's say Leroy and Jay tackles him and they both go in the water at the same time, who wins?
I think it goes back to like Dirty 30, whoever hits the water first.
I mean,
or do you think they would have done the times of Teresa and Casey?
Well, they technically did. That's what it was initially, because they both stayed on at the guys cancel each other out.
So you're saying if Jay's foot would have hit 1 second after Leroy's?
Yes.
Because allegedly it was 1 second.
And it only came down to the girls because the guys stayed on the whole time.
Yeah.
I don't know. Who knows?
So we're all in agreement that the 1 second was not.
Totally.
Oh, not even close. I would guarantee, I would probably say it was between 15 and 30 seconds. I would go 15 to 20.
It just has to be.
There's no way. Next week is going to be, this is the closest challenge of all time.
Yes.
1 millisecond or something like that.
I think there's been a few hall brawls when they say we have to check the tapes, right?
God. And you know what's funny?
I think everyone.
If you seriously watch those hall brawls where they're like, oh, it's 1 second or whatever, you can clearly see who wins. Who by like a decent amount. The only one that I remember was, I think it was Dunbar who missed the rope, if I can remember correctly. Yeah. He like swung the wrist and then hit the rope. Yeah. So somebody in this chat must be watching Rivals 2 or something right now or something.
Watch it.
Yeah.
Tyree pissed.
God. Tyree wearing his shirt backwards? That can't be right. God. All right. So then obviously the 1 second happens. And then Leroy and Casey win. So that's basically it, right? We didn't miss anything.
That was the challenge.
Yeah, so Leroy and Casey win. We go back to the house, and then we had the whole Teresa versus Amber versus Darrell. It was kind of just all over the place, right?
Yeah, that was really the only thing before the big fight. I think it was the same night. It was the same night out, just a little bit before. Teresa got called out by Amber and Darrell for basically saying their names, which she did. We've literally already recapped that part of the episode. Teresa was busted, and she, again, like we talked about, just kind of panicked.
Yeah.
When those two called her out.
Yeah. So she's caught red-handed. She doesn't know what to do. She kind of just I don't know what her thought process was. Can someone explain that to me? Like the whole thing, like why not say like, yeah, I was just talking with CT right away? Like, why did she have to wait that long?
Wait? I don't know.
I'm also a bit confused.
Are you confused with me or why to her?
Right now, you.
I'm saying, why didn't Teresa that night at the bar just come clean and talk about CT, that whole CT and Darrell thing?
I think, because my first answer is I don't know, but my guess is she was trying to expose CT for calling her out without being open about it, because she's kind of shady. And I think a shady person, when they get caught, tries to put someone else like on the spot.
And that was the perfect time during an elimination.
Show me the receipts. I want receipts. I was wearing a Lululemon shirt between 9 and 10. How about that?
Yeah, she panics.
She does.
Panics.
She does.
So I kind of want to skip ahead for a second. Do we think she's going into elimination next week?
Yes.
I mean, she's got to be.
Who else would? I think that's the real question.
Who else would? Well, first, we don't even know if it's going to be a guys or girls elimination. Right? It could be a guys. They have the same number now, right?
They
have the same number.
Cam, Anissa.
No, partner-wise, there's no rogue agents.
Partners-wise, it's even, but guys
I'm talking skulls.
Guys have two more skulls.
Yeah, it's 4-2.
Yeah.
Right?
So that's the only number that counts.
Probably going to be a girls.
Shh. We'll get into it.
So, all right. So then the next part we have to talk about is the big fight, and this is kind of where the episode got out of control for at least a good 20 minutes. It kind of started with Devin just instigating Fessy as easily as he could. He was in his face, Big Brother sucks, and then eventually it got kind of Josh got pulled in, Kyle got pulled in. And it really was just like Devin and Kyle kind of laughing with each other at them, just joking around, saying Big Brother sucks and all this. And Fessy trying to be the big tough guy and Josh being Josh. That's kind of where the fight went.
Yeah, I mean,
that's. Go ahead.
Go ahead. So, I mean.
Oh, yeah. So what I'm thinking. Trev, go ahead.
So I just thought, basically that, I mean, it's classic Josh just being drunk. It's classic Fezzy being drunk. And then, that's the best part about Devin. Him just stirring the pot. And that's why I do like Devin to an extent. Some people hate him. What's it called? Disagree with that comment, Andy, but so, Andy, what else? What do you think? I can't even talk right now.
I loved it because in my mind, first off, I hate the Big Brother people so much. This is like exactly what they do. Like they are such little, like they're just super high strung people who just lose it. Like they're so emotionally unstable that it's hilarious. And then you get people like Devin and Kyle who just like to poke buttons. They didn't really do a whole lot. Like back in the day, people would does no one remember when Laurel made fun of Paula for being anorexic and old and doesn't have a man and isn't doing anything with her life? Like she was literally coming at her throat. And all that happened was like there was a little bit of some crying and stuff like that, but that was about it. I mean, I do think this probably was just like, oh, Big Brother's so stupid. Oh my gosh, you don't even know. I will fight you right now.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell are you doing?
I also think
idiots.
It's also like the time we're in now. Like everything's so taken so seriously, and it's like just relax, people. Like it's a joke or whatever. Devin understands that. It's literally like it's a game. Like take it as a joke. Like you brought up. I mean, Boogie Brown says Paula deserved it. I don't know if anybody deserves being talked like that. I mean,
don't sleep if Boogie clearly remembers that season well, because Cara and Laurel got shit on that entire. That was the 2-liter of Coke. Cara's head for no reason.
Okay, well, that was deserved, though.
Boogie knows that season.
God. I'm just trying to remember other things that, like, people went home. Like, luggage in the pool. People just quit. I'm trying to think
West threw CT's bed straight out of their bedroom. No CT, and he acted normal.
God.
I think my favorite part, one of my favorite parts of this fight tonight was when Josh was in Devin's face and he was saying, I'm going to count to 3 and like, you better be out of here. And you just knew based on what had happened before that, you just knew there was no fucking chance that Devin was moving. And I love that because it's like Devin is a smart enough guy, obviously, to know that Josh is a stupid enough guy to just count to 3 and then just push him like he did. And so I just love that Josh had this like threat, so to speak, and Devin just stood there knowing what was going to happen. It happened, and then Josh just looked like an idiot.
Well, on top of that scene, in that scene specifically, Josh looked big.
God, he sounds big.
Big. And that was, I think, in one of the like confessionals that happened during that whole scene was, it was Devin. Devin saying, "Look, I know I'm a layup. I own it. Josh is a layup, and he acts like he's one of the toughest guys." And that's so spot on.
That was
spot on.
That was an amazing line by Devin.
Devin has grown on me a lot this season.
Wow. I never thought I would hear those words out of your mouth.
I like the Devin Kyle dynamic a lot.
Agreed.
Okay. Is Devin shining so much because Bananas isn't here this year?
Maybe.
And that why we're like, we have to attach ourselves to something, and he's the closest thing we got?
Yeah, but don't discredit him because he feels this episode felt like an old school Bananas episode in terms of stirring the pot.
He is just, I mean, he's very good at one-lines. He's very good. Bananas is obviously the GOAT at it.
Put Nickel and Josh.
Come on. I mean, his one-liners are just pretty good. So, I don't know. I just think we might be just taking Devin as Bananas-esque.
And this is probably the longest time he's been on our on this show at all without Bananas, right?
Rivals 3 to the finale.
Bananas was there. I mean, no. I'm
without
yeah, and not to mention the fact that like Wes too has been gone for the past 5 episodes or whatever.
Wait. Boogie Brown said no, Bananas is not. That better not be. Kenny is the GOAT of one-liners. Oh God, we're not starting this. We're not.
Boogie is my guy.
God.
Because Kenny is. That's a fact. That's just a fact. It's a challenge fact. People like Boogie and myself know that Kenny is the GOAT of one-liners. Funniest guy that's ever been on the challenge.
That was.
I mean, perfect.
We might just have to mute Boogie for that one.
Verbal meme. Boogie Brown, D Wade, alley-oop, me, LeBron. But I think something else for Devin is like, who the hell else does that kind of stuff? Like Bananas, there was always Wes. Like there's always at least been a couple personalities like that, but it's literally like just Devin. Kyle a little bit too, but I think that helps kind of make Devin shine a little brighter. Nowhere near Bananas, nowhere near Kenny.
Well,
but
there's no like face of this season, right? We agree with that. Like, if you were to pinpoint, like, if they were to have, a couple seasons ago, there was that picture in like Times Square of the challenge. It was like Bananas and Cara as like the face of the challenge. Who would you put up this season for that? If they were to put that sign up in Times Square, who would you put up?
I got my answer.
It would have to be CT, but I don't like that. No,
that wouldn't be my answer. I would go Cam
as the face of the challenge.
Yes.
Oh.
Are we talking one from each gender, or
are you there?
No.
You're lagging a little bit, Alex.
No, not one from each gender. I'm thinking just Cam. Period.
Someone did say Corey in the chat. Love by you. Thanks for joining us again.
Chat's bumping.
Corey's actually a really good pick too. Mikey the Doctor wrote Darrell. If Darrell in his prime, when he's coming off victories, absolutely 100%. I think he would be a good candidate. But he hasn't been on. I mean, people forget. When was the last time he was on? Dirty 30, which he was on for 2 seasons. It was Invasion of the Champs and that. And then before that, when was the last season? Fresh Meat 2?
Fresh Meat 2.
Yeah. So, I mean.
I think Fresh Meat 2.
So, Alex, who'd you say your pick was?
We're only picking from the cast this season?
Yeah. So if it was from this season of the challenge.
When I think the big posters in Times Square, if we're only pulling from this season, I would say Ashley.
That's what Love by You says. Michael McCuller also hops in there saying CT. A lot of CTs, a lot of Corys.
I think when you think of the challenge, you do think of CT as one of the top dogs of the show. Problem is, I feel like they've never painted him as like the poster boy of the show. Like he's always been there, and don't get me wrong, he's arguably a top 5 competitor of all time, but they've never painted him in that direction. He kind of likes being back from the spotlight, kind of.
Yeah,
he's bad.
What?
He's a bad boy. God. You can't have a bad boy be the face.
I mean, for the past 2 decades, the face has been Bananas, and then if it's not Bananas, it's his rival who's been Wes. So like CT has always kind of been that 3rd or 4th guy.
Wait, are we stupid? The face of the challenge? Wes was on this season. His face would have been in Times Square.
I don't know though.
God, I completely forgot Wes was on.
Honestly, I think you could say Bananas.
God, watch it. TJ Lavin, honestly, at this point.
Yeah, that's what J.S. Paul said.
Yeah.
But how did we get here?
I don't know. We were all over the place. The 76ers just hit a game-winning shot with 2 seconds left. They blew a 10-point lead in a minute. So any sports fans out there you go. That's talking sports tonight. So back to like we were talking about.
Deliberation
Comes around, and everything's just all over the place. I mean, you have Teresa crying. You have Devin with the first statement saying, "I'm sorry," which I was
like that.
Do we think he was on the radar? Because throughout all the drama and everything, I didn't view him as ever being potential to be voted in. And he kind of finished his little spiel at Deliberation with like half joking, half serious, like "Don't throw me in." But it had never occurred to me of like his name being on the chopping block. Did you guys think he was?
They only had a couple votes. But I mean, it was either going to be Teresa and Jay or them. I didn't think another team would have been thrown in. Who else did you think?
Maybe Darrell?
I don't think so.
Maybe if Teresa would have gotten some of the rookies to go her way, but I mean, I think it was just a matter, and we kind of saw this when those guys were like explaining why they voted the way they did. I think it was just the fact that Fessy was just so mad still at Devin from the Big Brother sucks, and Fessy is just like has the mind of a 12-year-old, so he was just gonna vote him in.
Yeah, and Josh voted for him shockingly. I think Josh was crying when he was doing his secret vote.
Yeah.
That sounds about right. So, yeah, that's another cry. We didn't bring that up. So, what's our Josh number? What are we up to? 3.3 now or 4?
I want to say 2.
I was going to say 2. I
think
it's 2, but here's the thing.
No. This is what it was. It was 2 on screen, but we all agreed there was one that was not shown on screen.
Well, there's off screen. It's probably been 7%.
Yeah. We got to do on screen.
So 2.
And keep in mind, I still think we're kind of tracking well because there's 19 episodes in this damn season.
But how many does he have left in him?
Maybe like he could have fucking 8 left still and not be close to the final.
Wait,
Well,
what? We're on 7, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but remember last week, Josh had he wasn't in it at all.
MVP.
Here's the thing about Josh tonight, and this is what was the segment we were talking about? People we don't want airtime, or I think Jesse Adams wrote it last week.
We're workshopping the name.
Yeah, workshopping the name. So we'll kind of enter in a segment real quick. But Josh really didn't have that much airtime tonight except that fight. And that was a very small part of it. Besides that, I don't think he had any confessionals or anything. Right?
It really was just the fight.
Yeah.
But did he even have a confessional?
I mean, he had a couple centered around the fight.
Yeah, but confessional-wise, I don't think he had one scene. I think it was just, back up, bro, or whatever to Fezzi. And
I'm going to count to 3.
God, well, thank God he could count to 3. I was a little nervous when he got to 2.
So what was our, before the season, what was our over-under on Josh cries?
6.5?
It was 6.5 cries this season.
So
and
we're at 2.
That does include reunion show.
Oh,
yeah.
Hammered the over.
Yeah, and we all hammered the over, obviously. Boogie Brown said he had 0 confessionals tonight, so I'm taking that man's word. So you have that going on. Deliberation we talked about. Teresa and Jay are compromised, not surprised. And then we kind of just go straight into the elimination. So they're walking into the elimination. You see that challenge. And I was kind of surprised they brought this one back so fast. I don't know about you guys. I felt like, what episode do we have this elimination in? 1, right? I guess then again, that is 6 episodes now I think about it. But I was hoping for something different. I don't mind this elimination. I would prefer something else, though. Anybody?
I agree. I think it's a kind of an interesting challenge, though, because it is a bit athletic, awkward, somewhat random, but still takes some skill. I didn't mind this challenge. The good news is that means we're going to get one of those pseudo pole wrestles that Kyle won, and we're also going to get another hall brawl.
Absolutely.
So I'm excited about that. We're like this I would say has been a middle of the tier, like not this exact elimination, but just this setup. I'd say is middle of the tier.
Yeah. Jesse Adams said, I would like to see puzzles here soon. Depends. It very depends, ask. Mikey did not know it's a coincidence when Josh doesn't get a lot of airtime. The episode is better. Could not be more spot on.
The elimination itself, I agree, is a good elimination. It's fun to watch, but it just kind of felt lazy, the fact that they did this because I don't know about you guys, but when I was watching it, my very first thought was, when I thought of this elimination in the past, I thought of Leroy when he beat Bananas on X's 2. And then I was like, wait a second, we had this elimination on this season already. Like I had forgotten, like the first thing that came to my mind was seasons ago. And then I remembered that Ashley lost this one, episode 1. And I was like, well, why are they, I don't know. I don't like that they bring it back so quickly. I feel like you save the repeat eliminations for your pole wrestles and your hall brawls of the world and not much else. This one's a good one. Maybe you do it 2 times in a season, but not episode 1 and episode 7 when there's 19 episodes. So
Jesse brings up a good point. He says or she maybe. Jesse says, I really want to see a girls hall brawl. The first one that we did of tonight was a girls. Now it's a guys. So maybe based on that schedule of like the eliminations and the rounds, maybe we are going to see a girls like pole wrestle and a girls hall brawl next, which I would be all in favor of. But then that means we're going to get a guys one that they did last week where they jump around to each pole. What were the other girls eliminations?
And the one with Tori and Anissa where they like toss the cannonballs at the wall.
Yeah, that'd be interesting to see guys do.
Yes, Jesse is the guy, by the way. Andy.
Agreed.
Okay, thanks, Jesse.
God.
Hey, 2021.
God, watch it after your stunt last week.
So
one thing I do want to bring up, and I want the chat's opinion on this.
Blow me.
what do you guys think about? I was watching it recently. Fresh Meat 2, the Elimination, where two teams, they're not seen by anybody, and that season it was a race. It was basically like carry 30 pounds at one time, drop buckets or whatever, whatever. Okay,
and that's what Fresh Meat 1 was, by the way, as well. Sorry, keep going.
So, what do you guys think about those eliminate? Because I kind of like that more. I do love to me, I would rather see the elimination played out elsewhere without anybody around, and then the winning team comes home and you're all like everybody's around the house, waiting for that person to walk in. I picture them on the log cabin just sitting on the balcony waiting, and stuff like that. Do you guys like that or no? Boogie Brown wrote hell no.
So I guess my answer is I like it the way they did it in the fresh meats, but I think part of the reason is because the elimination itself was just a race. Whereas
and that's the thing. We can change those rules. Like, it doesn't have to be a race. It could be like a hall brawl.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying if it's
have a hall brawl with no spectators.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If it's like a regular elimination we normally think of, I want there to be fans there. But I also think there is something cool to having like one team come back to the house. But I feel like part of the reason it worked was because, think about if you put the cast there for the Exile races they had. There's nothing to really watch. It's just a race. So I feel like it worked the way they did it, but I wouldn't want there to be an empty crowd for a hall brawl.
Yeah, go ahead, Andy.
Here's one thing to think about too, because ultimately the main decision on where this lies is with MTV.
Mm-hmm.
When you think of the best elimination rounds, you don't think of when Wes and Casey beat name a given competitor and Fresh Meat 1. You don't think of that because it's not entertaining for us as viewers, as opposed to seeing Fessy and Nelly T go in a hall brawl. I would take that any day of the week, and I think that's probably what the ultimate decision ends up being based off of. And then to Alex's point, it'd be stupid to not have the rest of the
And I was just about to say, and then Boogie came in the chat. I think they did that on Invasion.
Yeah, they did it in the beginning to get into the actual house or whatever you call it.
The Oasis.
Yeah.
And does anybody remember who the first challenger to book their ticket to the Oasis was?
Jenna?
I was gonna say Dario. No?
It was Dario.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was.
Because I think it was like if you win a challenge you're in, if you win an elimination you're in.
Yeah. So Jenna won the elimination on the first episode.
And so did Tony.
Oh, I thought it was Corey who won the first one.
No, Tony beat
Darrell.
Bruno.
God. Oh, that one was the picking up the bags.
Yeah.
Back and forth. Yeah.
Yeah.
For some reason, I always think that first elimination was jumping for, the one where you're jumping off the, it was like Corey, you had to hold. It was when Heisman didn't do it. I thought that was the elimination for some reason in my head.
I don't think that was the first one.
What?
No, that was Theo.
Oh, yeah, Heisman. I thought it was Heisman. It wasn't Heisman?
No, Heisman's rookies. Heisman started on. No, that was Theo.
Oh, but not Theo.
Not real Theo. It was fake Theo.
God, Bruno fingers.
Bruno fingers.
God, that's good. Jenna, classic.
Finger blast.
Okay, so back to the
where are we at? Where are we at now?
To the elimination. So
we got
Tej comes in and he's like, I'm tired of this bullshit kind of thing. He says, I don't want any of you guys to just skate by or whatever. He does his whole spiel. So basically, he canceled out all the votes that, the guys didn't participate in, all those guys. At this point, I was like, oh, shit, something's better changed. They go to commercial, they hype this up. I'm excited. I'm like, oh, if what's his name's not going in, this is going to be wild. Sure enough, it's the same.
Changed nothing.
Yeah, changed absolutely nothing at all. So I was pissed. Yeah, love by you. LVP might have to be Alex's Wi-Fi because it's been trash.
Wow. Magic Jack.
So that pissed me off so much. And I don't know if it pissed you guys off, anybody in the comments. You can't just hype that up like that and just drop the ball. Especially bring in a commercial. They literally brought in a commercial and had me like, who's going in? And then they did that. And I was pissed. Andy, what'd you think?
Agreed. No, I totally agree. I mean, sometimes with the challenge, and we've seen it before because they do these twists all the time, and sometimes it is a game changer. Sometimes it's a total non-factor, and that's just what today's was. So, I mean, I wasn't surprised, but I was pissed because I was like, why even do it? Why even, like, say that? Well, and I say that, but then, like, obviously no one's going to be quitting challenges anytime soon. So maybe there's some good that's going to come out of it, but for this, it was kind of irrelevant for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alex, what'd you think?
When it cut to commercial, I was very ready to have my MVP vote be TJ because I thought that something was going to happen because of this, and then it came back and it was nothing. And I guess the only thing, like you said, is maybe this will just incentivize people to not quit. And
sorry, timeout. Because TJ doesn't like quitters, aside from Leo. Sorry, continue.
And if something does happen again, maybe this is, their warning or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. I think it was good. Really did something, but I guess the votes still just fell in the same way they would have.
Now, timeout. You brought up a good word there. The little warning.
Mm-hmm.
I'm almost certain that warning was for their actions the night before. I don't think that was for quitting. I think that warning that TJ gave out was, what happened last night, we cannot tolerate. That's not how we act. This is your one warning. I'm fairly certain that that's what the warning was in reference to, which really pissed me off. But
wait, I'm confused on what you're saying. Yes, he did. He definitely did make a warning, 100%. He also made a warning about people not competing.
Yes, but I think when he was on the elimination floor, he was saying, we might have fully lost Alex.
He's back.
When he was on the elimination floor, he was like, the things that happened last night were inexcusable, not going to happen again. This is your one warning.
Yes.
Relax, TJ. What do you mean this is their one warning? So Devin was making fun of Josh and Fessy.
Yeah.
What do you mean you get a warning? I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, there's going to have to be something come of this. I don't know.
We'll see.
All right. I think Alex is trying to get back in. He's still lagging quite a bit. So, Andy, let's talk about this elimination.
Let's do it.
So, the elimination. Were you surprised or what?
Very. I was surprised for a couple of reasons. I was surprised that Leroy went down. I thought that was very bold on his part because when I saw this challenge, I was like, wow, Jay's probably got this in the bag because this seemed like a Jay challenge. But for Leroy to have the balls to do it, good for him. And for him to come out and absolutely smoke it, even better for him. But I was surprised for both those reasons.
Like I said earlier, I think those were the top two people you could have go in that competition tonight. I don't think anybody else would have came close to that. Like, you could have put, if you want to put CT, Kyle, whoever up against Jay, Jay's coming back, I think.
Yeah.
Boogie Brown writing that Leroy got his 9th elimination win tonight. But as crazy as that is, the only important stat that he has is at 0 right now, how I look at it. So 9's very impressive. But people forget he still has 0 rings, which I hope he wins. I mean, realistically, I'm rooting for Leroy to win at this point. I would like to see possibly Cam go home, but, that's just me. But another thing I do want to bring up is the whole what's the reasoning with the whole fire thing during that challenge? Can someone explain that to me? Is that like just supposed to like hype it up or something? Like I feel like, it's a little hot. Well, I don't know. I don't get the purpose of it.
I don't think it does anything.
I don't think it does anything.
It's all for show.
That doesn't sound like the challenge.
And I think so. I think it was impressive that Leroy went down, and I feel like there's a good amount of it because of the fact that he very rarely is someone able to go into elimination that they've done before because they have so many things that they recycle through.
True.
And like you got somebody like Leroy who not only did he win the last time he did this against Bananas, he smoked it just like he did tonight. So like he knows in order for him to lose, Jay has to be better than he is somehow. And he knows how good he is at this. And I mean, he smoked it.
Yeah. So I think that's basically it, right? So the only thing that came from it, we had Leroy win the elimination. He chose to stay with Casey, which I thought was a very smart move. And then you basically had Teresa. Wait, no. Andy, is that a no?
I don't think him staying with Casey was a bad move.
Okay.
I think him jumping and grabbing Cam might have been a better move.
I just think
we don't know
that was my thought.
Because we don't know what's gonna. Well, hold on. We don't know what's gonna end up happening. We don't know like if your final partners who you're going into the challenge with. We don't know anything about like what's going to happen once we get to the finals. But what we do know is Cam has her skull and Leroy has his skull, and they have numbers on their side. So I didn't see the reason why she wouldn't just say, okay, we've punched our tickets. Let's just hitch our wagons together and not see another elimination and go straight to the finals. I don't see the downside of that. Whereas like Casey's, like, could you imagine if Casey goes in to get her skull and they do that? It's actually a guy's elimination. What's the point? Why risk that? You know what I mean?
Why I like the move though is one, you have more numbers on your side regardless. So nobody's targeting you. Like you can lie all you want, but having two teams, I mean that's 4 people. That's 4 votes right there. That's essentially on your side regardless. That's why I really like that. If you're together, you lose 2 votes completely. And I mean anybody.
Do you know? Everyone votes individually. So like if there's enough bad blood where if you're on a different team, then Casey's going to vote a different direction. Who's to say she's not going to do that anyways? Alex, what were your thoughts?
I completely agree with Andy on this one. I was completely shocked that they didn't join forces there. And just I think about it because of like their whole reasoning when they picked partners episode 1 to split up was let's spread out our numbers, let's figure the game out, let's get our skulls and everything. But like now we're 7 episodes in, they both have theirs. Why not join, especially like we've seen from other teams like Lolo and Nam, Jay and Teresa, like your partner and you are not playing the same game just because of the format and everything. And so to get a partner that is playing the same game as you, that's a big strength. They both have their skulls. I feel like if they would have joined together, they would have been able to just kind of lay low. They're both in a good spot. They can obviously trust their teammate, which is, not all teams can say that. And like you said, Cam and in Cam's shoes, she has a partner that has a skull already in Kyle, but Leroy doesn't. So if Leroy could get screwed with that. So I was very, and like they might not get the chance to join forces again.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why not?
I think that's a huge knock. You might not get another shot to team up. And granted, we don't know if that's going to matter or not, like being a team. But why?
Yeah,
I didn't.
No, I get it.
And let's not overlook the fact that Cam and Leroy is a damn good team. That duo is winning some challenges. You better believe that.
In a game of so much uncertainty, what you want to do is just have somebody next to you that you can trust. And I don't know why they wouldn't do it.
I think
you got your ticket to the final.
I think personally, I mean, we have people in the chat saying, they need to maintain other alliances. Like, I 100% agree with that. Absolutely. That's how I'm thinking. And realistically, too, I think we're on episode 7, and I know they don't know it, but we still possibly have 10, 11 more eliminations, as crazy as that sounds. So
True.
One of those guys or girls, excuse me, are probably going into an elimination. Is that fair to say?
And so the chat's very clearly kind of been on the opposite side of me and Alex, which I don't think there's a right or wrong answer here. That's just what I was surprised about. But someone made a good reference of, and this is kind of like with when Jordan and Tori, one of them was going to continue down that final, and one of them was going to have to lag back. Granted, Tori and Jordan didn't end up working out, but it does double their relationship's chance of winning a lot of money. In case something gets south, one of them can go to the final, win some money, and come back, and they're still together and starting their life together. Because they both said that's kind of their MO. It's if you've got 2 9s against a 6, you could stay on an 18, or you could split them up and shoot for 2 19s against the dealer 6.
Yeah, and everybody knows you have to split. So
exactly.
So with that being said, anything else from this episode?
What do we think? Well, so the next new team is, what do we think about Teresa and Corey?
I think that benefits Teresa very well. Because I feel like Corey's the kind of guy, a lot of people know. And here's the thing. Corey doesn't really have that strong of an alliance in this game at all now. But I feel like a lot of people respect Corey and aren't going to throw him in.
Yeah, I feel bad for Corey more than anything, just because Teresa has such a big target on her back.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. So
we'll get into that.
Anything else?
I think that's good. I think we got
segments.
We got a few segments. We got some people in the chat are chomping at the bit for some segments.
Let's do it. What do we got?
All right. First segment of the night, this day in challenge history. We got some trivia. So you guys get ready. We'll take the answers in the chat as we get them. So the first round, this day in challenge history, the seasons, Battle of the Bloodlines. Your first question is, in the elimination, who did Cara and Jamie beat? This was episode...
It's got to be Bananas and Vince now.
Episode 10 of Bloodlines.
Bananas and Vince.
Bananas and Vince. I agree with that guess.
That's your answer for who Cara and Jamie beat?
Yeah.
Correct answer is Bananas and Vince.
Wow. Boogie who? Oh, we beat you.
So now the second part of that question.
Wait, before you say that, because we do timestamp. We see exactly when each person sends their comments in. Boogie Brown and Mikey the Doctor, the exact same time, 10:49:09. Time.
Wow. It was decided by less than a second.
Well, no, they tied. Literally, it's the exact same time.
Yeah.
All right. So,
come on.
In that episode, in that challenge that led to this elimination, what team won the challenge?
I'm not gonna get this. I'll tell
you.
Cara and Jamie beat Bananas and Vince. Who won?
Corey and Mitch.
Corey and Mitch.
It was Corey and Mitch.
Bang.
I figured the Bloodlines would be easy just because it was so late in the season. There was not many teams to choose from.
How many episodes were there that season?
Bloodlines had...
Was it like 13?
13.
Come on. So was the episode next? There's the Corey and Mitch. What was the final 2 episodes? Or was Bananas and Vince the last team eliminated, or was there another team eliminated? Or I guess that's for next week.
That's next week.
We'll get into that next week. All right.
All right. We got
Any other this day?
We got one more round of this day in challenge history.
Okay.
So that was Bloodlines. All right. So this day in challenge history was X's 2. First part of the question is episode 4. The challenge name was Brush Off. What team won the challenge?
The first challenge?
Well, yeah, there's only one challenge.
Episode 4.
Oh, that's what I was going for. Episode 4.
Episode 4, the challenge in it. The challenge was called Brush Off. There was obviously it was pairs. What pair won the challenge?
I think it was Zach.
I'm gonna go bananas.
Boogie.
Wait, Trev, what was your guess?
What Boogie?
Boogie's on your side. I got bananas.
The correct answer is Zach and John A.
You know you're fucked, Andy, when Boogie Brown writes the exact same thing.
I know.
All right. So Zach and John A won. Their pick to go into elimination was Adam and Brittany, the rookie.
They won. It was back to back.
They won. Who did Adam and Brittany beat in this elimination? Episode 4.
Was that Jimmy and Knight?
Guess.
It was Jimmy and Knight.
Bang!
Wow.
And Jimmy and Knight got last. R.I.P. Knight. Shout out. Talked about him last week too. And I think this was, and we obviously got to call on Boogie here. I think this was the episode where, so Knight and Jimmy were last, so they were already in, and Zach and John A had to pick a team to go in. And I think their reasoning, it was like they could have voted in Jay and Jenna, but obviously Zach was like tapping that, and so he didn't want to. And so they gave some like BS excuse for not voting it in. I think the whole cast like laughed. TJ was getting a few laughs in. And it was just like so clear that they were voting Adam and Brittany in because he wanted to keep Jenna around.
Was that the
JS Paul writes, was that the catch-up episode? No, that was Rivals 2.
Yeah, that was different.
Different season. Electric episode.
Talk about the catch-up episode in here. Or was that one of us that sent a DM? I remember us talking about that like pretty recently. Right? Or am I just
we'll get into that.
Did you send me a clip of that?
I did.
Yeah, okay. So why are you acting like it?
I thought we were talking about on here. We didn't talk about the catch-up episode on here.
But like literally like 2 days ago, you sent me like it was on Twitter.
I just watched the catch-up episode. It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's the title of the episode is literally like something phobia. Did Boogie Brown really just say Rivals 2?
There's no way it's Rivals 2 episode 4. There's no way.
I'm trying to think of because I literally just watched. I'm trying to think of what episode I'm on.
Hold on.
It might be 4.
I have the X's 2 page up on right now. Should I scroll over to Rivals 2?
Yes.
Go to Rivals 2 and see what the episode is called.
The title of it is like something phobia. It's like the real like scientific word.
I remember that. So we'll see what episode number it is.
There's no way. If it's Rivals 2 episode 4, I'm going to.
We might just have to call it.
Oh
we might just have to end it. Are you kidding me?
Oh my God, it's it.
All right. Well,
episode 4.
Oh come on! There's no way.
I think I'm out.
How does Boogie do it?
God. The walking encyclopedia of the challenge. The challenge historian himself. Unbelievable.
Wow. We still got a Boogie. We got to get you on at some point for the live trivia question. Sometimes there's only one way to truly test this out.
Yeah. God. Unbelievable. All right. What are we thinking next?
Next segment, we ready?
Yeah, what are we thinking?
So next segment, I think it will be a quick one. It's called Who is Corey's Partner?
Ooh.
Partner?
Yeah, that's a segment. And I think Is it Live?
God, watch. Seriously,
Wait.
what's the next segment called?
Oh, wait, no. So we started at Nobody, and now we're at Teresa. So it's Teresa, right?
All right, that was a bad segment right there. That was really so. We're gonna go. I'm gonna skip Alex, whatever he just said there, and we're gonna go to a segment that we've done in the past. I don't know if we've done it this season at all. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's really gonna be time for Pluto Playback. Which, if you guys don't know what Pluto is, Pluto's literally just this free app. I have it on my TV right over here, and basically has a challenge channel where you can just literally watch whatever challenge season's on, or past challenge season on, and they're kind of all over the place. What's on? I mean, you've seen Invasion on there, you've seen Exodus 2 on there. It's kind of whatever, completely free. Yes, there's commercials, but it's a completely free app. Really cool thing they've done. So
yeah, when downloading, just use the promo code StirThePod.
There's none of that. But currently on there right now, the episode just ended.
Wait, what is the challenge number? Or channel number?
The channel number is 298.
All right, I'm pulling it up now.
Boogie Brown says I haven't seen them skipped episodes. Did they just change that? Because I've seen them always go in order.
I think there's a few select episodes each season that they just don't show for random reasons,
or some other reasons. But tonight's episode that was on that I turned on, it literally just ended right now. It was season 19, episode 6. Can we guess? The challenge itself was called Airheads.
Season 19 was definitely Fresh Meat 2.
Yes, it was Fresh Meat 2. Episode 7, it was called Airheads. The winner, well, actually, shit, it was actually episode 6. I'm reading the wrong one. It was called
and you gave me shit for my segment?
It was called It was called Turnstile. It was called Turnstile. Jill and Pete won, Andy.
Yeah.
And they voted in Landon and Carly into the classic elimination that we literally talked about earlier, where you don't see it and winners go back. Who did they send home? I guess this is kind of like a little...
it's kind of like this thing challenge history.
Boogie, I'm opening it up to the floor to you. Landon and Carly, who did they beat in episode 6? It was the Exile game was called Wait For Me. Boogie Brown strikes again. He is a legend. It was CJ and Sydney. Wow.
I don't get it.
Great episode. Great season. I mean, surely people in this light. Yes, Jesse Adams is correct too. CJ is right. People forget this podcast loves Fresh Meat. I mean, some would advocate for Fresh Meat 3.
Watch it.
We
talked about Kenny being the GOAT of the one-liners. Fresh Meat 2, an all-timer. After Kenny takes down Wes's entire alliance, I should write a book called How to Take Down an Entire Alliance by Mr. Beautiful.
God.
Legend.
How does Landon and Carly win that season? I look back at that season and I have no idea. Landon is just
under the radar.
Yeah,
just so under the radar. Is Carly one of the most underrated champions that we've ever had?
God, on the screen right now, Wes flirting with Teresa from Fresh Meat 2.
That got brought up. Oh, well, that was on, I think, Rivals. It was. That Rivals 2 sparked a little Wes and Leroy. Little beef.
Oh, over Teresa, kind of.
Yes.
Yeah. God, I'm looking at...
Boogie corrected my quote. How to dismantle an entire alliance by Mr. Beautiful. Spot on, Boogie.
God. Yeah, I'm looking at these teams. I mean, you look at this cast list and you see Darrell and Cara, first team go home.
Yeah.
Sarah and Kenny and Laurel not winning is just absurd.
It's incredible.
God. Whatever. All righty. That
So
was my little segment. We're good now.
okay.
You can take the floor back. Anything else we got tonight? MVP, LVP time?
Yeah, so we got MVP, LVP, and like always, we're gonna give our chat before you guys give your votes for who you have to pick for MVP, LVP.
Before you say that up, Boogie Brown makes a point. Landon's performance is the greatest win in challenge history. Can we debate that?
In terms of what, like final win or overall challenge? Like, how are we taking that?
I'm reading that as it's the single greatest performance ever in a challenge. Laurel's
like from season 1 to the finale? From episode 1 till the finale?
That's how I'm reading it.
I disagree, and you know who I think had the best. Okay, he says final win. You know who I think's got the best season of all time, and arguably the best final, is fucking bananas. Rivals 3. Him and Sarah dominated that entire season. He smoked the challenge and took all the money. I mean, what more could you ask for?
Yeah, I mean, the teams we always bring up, that team is incredible. Sarah and Jordan in Exodus 2 was a very dominant team too. Rivals 2, Emily and Paula was arguably, I mean, that team was unbeatable.
Well, we might
keep rewinding back to the powerhouse that got dethroned for physical reasons. Coral and Evan, Fresh Meat 1. Oh my God. They won everything.
I could be wrong. Somebody wrote in the chat, I don't know if it was Boogie, I forget, might have been Jesse, wrote Coral was overrated. I do remember that. Someone wrote that in the chat.
She started going downhill. She had a decline, but when her and Evan were
Rivals 3. I mean, that is true. I mean, who did he have to go through? Dario?
Dario and Devin.
Yeah, I know. Bananas and Sarah.
We might
JS Paul, how are they beatable? I mean, Sarah's the puzzle queen. I mean, you have that.
I think he's saying unbeatable.
Oh, I thought it meant is beatable. Sorry.
Yeah,
no, the keyboard.
That better not be the puzzle queen because she ain't the puzzle queen. She lost to Joanna and Jasmine. Yeah, Jasmine. Yeah. She's not the puzzle queen.
Joanna or Johnny?
Jonay. I thought it was Joanna. Classic name mix up.
Let's just say we might have a future segment in the spirit of March Madness around the greatest challenge teams of all time.
Ooh.
God, it's almost like we talked about that pretty recently.
We'll get into that. Well, all right.
So, what are we getting into?
So what I was saying is we'll give the chat a second to pick the order between.
That's the doctor wrote. Last time we didn't go.
All right. So we'll start with that order, but just real quick before we move to that segment, the one thing I want to bring up as a possible segment in the future is, I think based on Boogie's performance tonight, do we create a segment where the three of us talk before an episode to try to come up with a trivia question to stump him? Because I think the questions that have stemmed from this day in challenge history, they're not easy by any means, but they're very by the book. They're this episode, this happened, and so I think we might have to come up. The three of us might have to workshop a segment where we come up with a more obscure trivia question just for Boogie.
I'm thinking like how obscure we literally have to be, like saying like the challenge came on at 8 o'clock. At 8:32, what was on the screen during Fresh Meat 2? Who was speaking?
Well, you know what would be an interesting one? Because you got to do something that's somewhat possible, but I think it'd be interesting if we did trivia questions that they asked as like trivia questions, and we have Boogie guess the answer. So like the classic, like what language is the national language of Australia? Dutch. Like that answer is what we're looking for. That could be interesting.
God, they just showed. I did see a YouTube video on that. Somebody ranked every single trivia of the challenge. There's I think it was 23 or something, or maybe 33 or 23 episodes of. It wouldn't be 33. That's way too high.
God, trivia's the GOAT.
But it was literally from the worst to the best.
How many seconds in 5 minutes?
30. Did she say 30 or 300 or what?
I think she said
Boogie?
I think she said
100. Wasn't it 100?
I think it was 100 or 30.
I'm getting confused. I forget what she said.
All right. So we'll think about that.
She was sitting on the jet rocket thing, right?
Yeah.
It was Jenny, right?
6. He said 6.
God, 6.
No, it was not Ginny. It was fake Ginny, aka Nicole.
God. Mikey the Doctor. Banana's answer for TJ's mother is a great one. That was the one time where I thought TJ was actually pissed at him. You remember that? I thought he was really pissed.
Sounds really pissed.
All right. MVP. All right. Let's get back on the rails.
Yeah. So what was the order? You're first, right, Trev?
Yes. My MVP
Trev,
tonight.
Alex, me.
My MVP tonight is pretty easy. I think it's who got the skull, who's got his girl safe, got the revenge. It's pretty obvious. It's Leroy for me tonight. I think he did exactly what he said he was going to do, and he did it. I mean, it takes a lot of balls to actually go down, sacrifice yourself, and then to come out on top in an elimination where you look at it and you're like, damn, that's kind of ballsy for him to go in. And the performance that he's shown tonight, I don't know what guy wants to go into an elimination against Leroy right now. So that's why my pick is for the man himself, the barber, Leroy.
Good pick.
Leroy's a great pick. I think that's the house pick for tonight's episode. I would have gone Leroy. Obviously, we don't like to repeat in this segment, so my pick can't go Leroy. I'm gonna go Cam. Just basically closest thing to picking Leroy as the MVP. She didn't really do much this episode, but I think just because of everything that happened, she's in the best spot. She has a skull. Her partner has a skull, Kyle. Her boyfriend has a skull. And her main enemy, Teresa, is the whole house is targeting her at this point. So it's not just Cam. So I just think, I think Cam, I think I gave her my MVP last week just because she won and everything. But I think this week, just mainly a beneficiary of what Leroy did. So I'm going my MVP, episode 7, Cam.
All right. And rounding us off for MVP, we got Andy. What do you got for us?
So I like both those picks so far. My MVP for tonight is going to be Devin.
Ooh.
So I had TJ as my LVP last week, and I have Devin as my MVP for this week. So I don't know what the hell is going on in my brain, but Devin gave me a feel for the old school challenge tonight. He was pranking people. He was cracking jokes. He was mooning the glass. He had his little feet up, and he was wiggling them. I loved it. He had good one-liners. I loved, and it was all stuff outside of the challenge. And I'm usually not a fan of, I like a good balance between them. But Devin's antics were top-notch tonight, and he gets my MVP for that. And he also just made Josh look like an idiot, which is not hard to do, but I always love seeing that.
Wow.
That's a good pick. Devin had a good episode tonight.
Very good episode. Andy, LVP, who you got?
Okay, so LVP, I'm actually kind of pissed that I'm leading this off because I think there's at least one or two clear answers, but my answer is not what you guys probably think. My pick for LVP is going to be the challenge.
Wow.
And I've got a couple reasons, so bear with me here because, we talked about this already. I thought it was a good challenge. I thought it was slightly above average. So I'm not shooting down this episode per se, but especially with the taste that TJ left in my mouth last week, I'm still not over that. But there are a couple things that I just really rubbed me the wrong way. First off, I didn't like the challenge a whole lot. The whole 2 out of 4 heats DQing, that pissed me off. Second, and we don't really talk about this enough, the fact that the bar that they go out to is just some damn dome that's on the complex, that doesn't make for entertainment. that just makes them saying, okay, everyone get all dressed up and go over to the dome for a little bit. I mean, you got like the pasta gate. You got people screaming at each other on the buses. That's like when you go out on the challenge, that's how you get drama. That's how you get people going crazy. That's how you actually have a good time. And we just don't have that anymore, which I think is so stupid. So that pisses me off.
So how do you expect them to?
Thank you, Mikey the doctor.
No comment. I'm done.
Well, hold on. I'm not done. I've still got a couple other things. What?
Nothing. Continue. Just keep this
So that was already two things that rubbed me the wrong way for this episode. Another one that it doesn't really piss me off, but I miss it, and I realized I missed it. I missed the text clues. I missed hey guys, we got a text from TJ on our T-Mobile Sidekick 3. I just missed that. I'm reminiscing on old school challenges right now. One other thing that the last, I guess there's still a couple more things, but
are we making a list of why the challenge sucks?
My LVP was the challenge, and all of this stuff got bundled into this episode.
We still got to give our picks.
I know.
Oh, there's no bananas this season. Oh, there's no Tony Raines this season.
Watch it. So here's another one that I've been on the train for a while now. And this directly relates to the challenge sucking, in my opinion. Security jumps in way too damn quickly. Let the boys play, They're just getting in each other's face. If someone throws a punch, they know the ramifications of that. I mean, think back 10 years ago when Darrell was beating Brad's skull in. They didn't care. They said, give him an ice pack in the morning and see it, Darrell. That's what they used to do. So security jumping in too quick, that ruins some potentially all-time fights. TJ's whole warning in the challenge, that pissed me off. Of Devin's behavior being unacceptable. That's just the challenge. People are like, the challenge is losing its own identity right now, and that's what I'm really frustrated with. And then the whole twist of, oh, this is going to be a huge, and then it didn't change anything. The challenge pissed me off tonight.
We can see that.
That's it. I'm done. But I mean, I literally had like 5 or 6 things there, so that was my pick, and I'm done.
We know. It's like you clumped all the fresh meats together during like a Mount Rushmore in one pick or something like that.
God.
So
that is true.
Who's up?
All right.
Is it back to me?
Am I up yet?
Yes, you're up.
All right. I don't really know what's available to take still.
How do you think I feel?
I didn't take a lot of things.
So
you keep my
75% of the show,
I just took the challenge.
Yeah, ...
It's like a Mount Rushmore of eliminations and taking.
God,
wait. So when you say the challenge is your pick, are you saying the show itself, MTV, the challenge, or are you saying the challenge that happened tonight?
I would say it's more production.
No, like more so like Bune and Murray. More so like Bune and Murray.
So are you saying your LVP tonight is BME? The Bury Mary, I can't even say it right now.
LVP
Empire.
Oh, well, okay, because when you said the challenge, my mind went to the helicopter flying with the thing under it.
No. I meant BME for what they did for this challenge.
So production.
For this episode.
Production.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay.
BME.
All right.
BME.
So my pick then is going to be for the episode. So I'm going the guys and their pretty much their refusal to compete because the helicopter thing I liked, but it was you had 10 guys basically hang on the thing and do nothing aside from Michi, who kind of flopped. And obviously big enough for TJ to call them out, and rarely does that. Rarely does something that actually impacts the game by removing their votes and all that. So my LVP, I'm going the collective group of the guys.
Well, you kind of lagged through that, so we kind of got bits and pieces, but we know what you were going for.
That was a good pick. Very good pick.
Honestly, that was going to be my pick. So, shit. My LVP, My LVP is, God, this kind of goes with production too. Repeatable eliminations.
Okay.
Would be my pick. I think I feel like their budget is so like they're just so cheap with everything. Like, why not build something like that? Like, I feel like why do something the same when you can do something different or do something that people like? It's an all right elimination. Well, when you have like Leroy going out there, and even like Bananas has said in the past, they know where it's going, basically. You know what I'm saying? Like they know they can kind of map out the game itself in a way. Why not give these guys something like that you want to watch? You know what I'm saying? Like this, like they said, realistically, if you were there watching this elimination, it was less than a minute. Like, you don't want to see that. I would rather see them run, do the zigzags, crawl through the sand, like doing something like that. I would rather see them do that, or give them a hall brawl, or even give them a pole wrestle, something physical. But them just to do something that takes 60 seconds to do, and then not to mention, you do it that 60 seconds only to what's it called? God, only to make it 5 minutes, 7 minutes of airtime is ridiculous. So,
agreed. I thought that was a good pick, Trev. Can we do some honorable mentions? Because I've got one that we just have to address.
Yeah, I have one too, and I like to get it out now while they're still on. One of my honorable mentions, very low though, is Boogie Brown talking shit about our boy Tony can stay home. I think that's too far. I think we would all want to see Tony Reigns back. I don't know why you can say Tony can stay home. He's awesome. How do you not like Tony? What he brings to the challenge. He's a good competitor. You feed him alcohol, he will drink it and just blow everything up. The fact that you don't want Tony is a shame.
Wow.
So
agreed.
Now are we saying rivals 4, you got Fessy and Devin, and now you got Trev and L Boogie 23 Brown?
No, I'm not saying there's nothing against Boogie. I just don't understand why he's bagging on Tony. Tony's the man. Who doesn't like Tony? I know you like
Boogie.
I don't know. I'm just disappointed, Boogie. I'm just very people forget Tony beat Darrell. That's all I got to say. I'll end on that statement on Tony.
So my honorable mention, I'm surprised we went through all three of us without this person getting picked, would be for LVP Teresa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She, like I said, she, after last episode, you would think that there was no way her stock could go down, and she found a way. And she's, I guess the one person that was kind of on her side was Jay, and she lost that. And so now she's just has a bigger target on her back. I don't know. I think she's an early favorite no matter how the episode goes next week for LVP of next week.
Yep. I agree. That was my last honorable mention too. I'm right there with you.
Any others for MVP? I think Devin was a good pick. I was thinking about going Devin. Who do we say? Leroy, Cam. I was thinking about. Actually, I don't know. I don't know who our MVPs are. I don't know. I don't think there was a whole lot of other options.
No, I feel like it was very. Another LVP. Did you say Jay? Did anybody say Jay?
No.
I feel like he kind of just got the short end of the stick, and I don't know if I should count that as an LVP.
Right. Because
that's how my process was. Like, he did nothing wrong. It was more of his partner that screwed him over. I like Jay. I correct me if I'm wrong, but I think in our season recap of last season, I gave my MVP to Jay. Because the only reason why was because beating CT gave him a 3-year contract with the challenge. If he would have just left,
I agree with you. I think he was kind of dealt a shitty hand on this episode, but I think more so it stems from his performance of last week. And I think one of us had to have given him LVP last week. I don't know if either of you guys did or not, but last week was when he was lying to people straight to their face. He blindly voted with Teresa. That was the true today's episode in terms of his LVP performance was like the aftermath of his real LVP performance last week, in my mind.
Yeah, Jay's ultimate demise was not sticking up to his partner.
Correct. Last week, Jay thought, this would be a future Jay problem. And then future Jay was today.
Yeah.
So anything else? I do want to point out that Pluto has started, and it is episode 7 now, and it's from Fresh Meat 2. It's the one where they go down that giant slip and slide, and they have to build that puzzle.
Flying squirrel.
Yeah.
We might have to pull this segment out again throughout the course of the rest of the season, and for everybody listening to the chat, all you have to do is, the app is or just pull up the app, and the show, whatever you guys see, is going to be what we're talking about.
Yeah. Fun facts about the season, maybe a little season recap while we're at it.
A little trivia.
I know people like Fresh Meat,
All right.
All right. With that being said, anything else? Lasting remarks? Or are we all set to end this?
I think we're good. 7 down, 12 to go.
Sheesh.
Extra
innings here.
5 recaps every week.
Live recaps. You can follow us on
Twitter. How much does it cost, though?
Shout out Daffy.
God, $0. Shout out to the chat tonight. We had the classic goats, JS Paul in the house, Mikey the Doctor, Boogie Brown. I'm trying to think. Who else?
Love by you.
Jesse Adams.
A guy, Jesse Adams.
Yep, confirmed.
Confirmed to Andy. Thank you.
Ryan McCord.
Adam Meadows.
We have a fun time in there.
Yeah, so thank you if I missed any of you guys. I didn't mean to, but thank you guys for listening to a brand new Stir the Pod podcast show. I've been your host, Trevor. You can follow us on Twitter at Stir the Pod. Thank you guys. Love you guys. Shout out Duffy.